Trump has been having a horrible time since he was first asked about the infamous phrase, taco.
Chicken out, I've never heard that. That's a nasty question.
And since that phrase inched its way into his little brain, it's been rattling around in all of that empty space. And some folks who worked very closely with Donald Trump and his psyche are saying that this little joke might be the thing that pushes him off the edge. If I had my way, it'd be the edge of a cliff. In video games, of course. Secret Service in video games. Not only that, but creepy Karoline Leavitt is catching strays as she continues to be an all-star propagandist, to the point where her lying is so aggressive and vitriolic, it's just downright off-putting and creepy. Trump being upset about people calling him taco and chicken Trump means that us mocking him has a real effect. So if you want to be a part of that solution, join us here at Really American by subscribing and drop a taco in the comments so I know you're here. We'll start with creepy Karoline because she's been trying to defend Trump chickening out on these tariffs, saying that judges are stopping him on his on-again, off-again tariffs, undermining his ability to lead, or his inability, rather.
Why would other countries continue these trade deal negotiations given the ruling?
Because other countries around the world have faith in the negotiator-in-chief, President Donald J. Trump. And they also probably see how ridiculous this ruling is, and they understand that the administration is going to win, and we intend to win. We already filed an emergency appeal. We expect to fight this battle all the way to the Supreme Court.
What do you say, though, to her?
I don't think creepy Karoline, when she speaks, I don't think anybody in America really takes her seriously on a matter of substance. I mean, she's not, learned by any imagination. And I think her comments are clearly so defensive and so ill-informed that people might largely turn her out. She's wrong. And keep in mind, these courts are not trying to participate in international trade matters. All they're doing is ruling on whether a statute authorizes actions by a president. Did Congress delegate its authority to the president under this statute? And the statute in question has never in history been used in connection with tariffs. So I think the likelihood is that this statute will be upheld and enforced in a way that, precludes the president from trying to pretend that he has these all-encompassing powers.
So the headline of the Drudge Report today trolled Trump. I don't know if you saw this, Ty, but it posted an AI-generated image of him in a taco suit and a hat with the headline TACO, which, of course, is the acronym that stands for Trump Always Chickens Out, which has, gotten some pickup on Wall Street, basically of how they've been trading the tariffs. He says one thing, but we know he'll back down, and that's why the markets have basically, ignored the trade war. This came, though, after he was asked about the taco trade, and it was by a reporter from CNBC, and it rattled him clearly. Let me just play it.
We had a dead country. We had a country people didn't think it was going to survive, and you ask a nasty question like that. It's called negotiation.
So, Ty, you know how important the tariffs are to him, and you know him well, and you see his response there. How much of all of this bothering him right now?
Oh, I think it bothers him very much. What you heard there was, the rant of Trump, the wounded narcissist. He doesn't take criticism well, and he responds typically with, these riffs like that, or what he went on with at West Point about trophy wives and et cetera, et cetera. He just, when he gets deeply into his own fears and insecurity, he's capable of saying anything.
Now, this man is Trump's ex-lawyer, so he definitely knows the real Trump. Considering the lawyers that Trump usually surrounds himself with, Ty Cobb here isn't exactly a peach himself. But he wasn't the only ex-aide to take a swing at Trump after the Taco Thursday incident. Trump's ex-White House aide also went on air last night and said that Trump is clearly very affected by these taco comments.
But he hates being ridiculed, and you have people now talking about taco trays. Trump always chickens out with these tariffs. And then you have his willingness and desire to fight the judges. I wonder where you think this might be headed for him.
So Trump was handed 3 huge political wins this week if he can accept them and just take the win. The first, Elon Musk leaving, somebody whose approval rating is 37%. People do not like the Doge cuts. They think that they're reckless. They're all for cutting waste, fraud, and abuse, but they felt like they didn't know what he was cutting. That's a win for this White House. Secondly, this ruling from the courts. These tariffs have been disastrous. People are already feeling the impact of them. And this is the graceful off-ramp that I think some around the president were kind of hoping was going to happen, because his entire legislative agenda and economic agenda is going to be dragged down if these tariffs stay in place as they were. And then finally, Taco. He's going to hate this. We all know it. We saw how he reacted to the reporter's question. But that is huge that Wall Street traders have actually learned how to sort of call Trump's bluff. So he's not able to cause the sort of market volatility that we saw in the first few months. Those are all good things in the long run for Donald Trump's economy and for his future agenda. But all of them look like losses, but actually are wins if he can simply take the win.
I'm going to go ahead and say no. He can't take the win, and he's got such a bruisable ego that this taco trade thing is going to eat him alive. And with the tariffs being put on and taken off by Trump himself and then being paused and unpaused by various courts, it's difficult to keep track of where we even are. And all of this uncertainty doesn't make for good investments overall.
Yeah, stock futures shooting up after a federal court blocked President Trump's tariffs on dozens of countries. News 6's Mark Lehman sorting out what this all means. And Mark, this would be a big blow to the president's agenda if it sticks.
Well, the court's decision immediately casts doubt into President Trump's signature economic policy. Now, for months now, the threat of tariffs has caused uncertainty in stock markets. But with this block, yesterday, the Dow futures jumped up about 500 points. You can see where that decision came down. That jump right there, it's hovered around that level ever since. And all this, meanwhile, sets up a lengthy appeals process that could go all the way to the Supreme Court.
It's a major legal blow to President Trump's global trade agenda. Financial markets are reacting after a federal court blocked the bulk of the president's sweeping tariffs. It includes the so-called Liberation Day tariffs announced in April. Mr. Trump implemented the tariffs without Congress by invoking the International Emergency Economic Powers Act. The legal team for the plaintiffs in this case, a group of small businesses, argued the administration interpreted the law too broadly.
What it does is interpret the law, the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, and it says that that does not authorize the president to issue unlimited unilateral tariffs.
The court agreed, ruling the president didn't have the authority to impose the sweeping tariffs in the way he did.
The Constitution gives the power to tariff to Congress, not to the president. So that means there's got to be some limit when Congress delegates that authority to the president.
The administration immediately appealed the decision, and the White House is pushing back against the ruling. Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller tweeting, "The judicial coup is out of control."
U.S. futures are falling again today and have been because of Trump's instability. His little trick of taking off the tariffs and solving a problem that he himself caused, that no longer works for the market. We aren't seeing the big reversals that we saw the first time he tried his little smoke and mirror show. Seems like folks are waking up to the fact that this emperor has no clothes, and he's covered in yellow feathers. I'm Tony Hinderman with Really American, and I'll catch you next time.